This is Against the Grain with Abby, the Liverpool doula. Welcome to episode 2 of Against the Grain with me, the Liverpool doula. My name is Abby, and today I'm going to talk about my work as a pregnancy and birth doula. I'm going to explain what is a doula and what it isn't, my approach to being a doula, my approach to work, and how I work with my clients, what I offer, when's the best time to book, how it all works, and basically my whole belief system around birth. So, what is a doula? Basically, a doula is a non medical support person who supports women throughout pregnancy and birth. So, traditionally, it's for during birth, but I tend to focus my whole work is basically preparing women, especially if they're going into or engaging with the NHS or the medical birthing system. So my main goal is educating women about birth, how it works, how to enhance it. Obviously, birth is what's the word? A kind of sequence of hormones that happens. And I teach women what to expect and how to enhance this completely normal, natural bodily process. And I also teach them about how the medical system fucks them over. So, um, yeah, so that is what a doula is. You can also be a postnatal doula, which is basically you give support to women when they've had the baby. That's not really my jam. I don't know why. It's just never been something that appeals to me. If someone asked me to do it and they were already a client, I would 100% go and do it. I'd enjoy doing it. But a lot of women get postnatal support from doulas who weren't their birth doula. It's just kind of a service that some doulas offer. Probably because I made a lot more money doing it, but it's just not for me. Um, and then there's also a death doula, an end of life doula. So that is someone who provides emotional, physical, practical support to people who are about to pass. Something that I've looked into, something that I'm interested in, just maybe not at this point in life. Um, what is a doula not? So a doula is not a medical person. A doula is not someone who carries out clinical tasks. A doula is not someone who can tell you what to do or give their opinion or diagnose or suggest any courses of treatment or action. A doula is there to support. However, loads of people think, or a lot of medical staff or people who are misinformed think doulas tell women what to do. No, 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 no. These women knew what they wanted to do before they even thought of getting a doula. They just needed a doula to help support them and advocate for them. So, a doula is not someone who basically gives their opinion, tells you what to do. They just lay out the information, and that's what I think a lot of medical staff don't like, is that we literally give evidence-based information usually. And because the evidence is so shit for all the policies that are being pushed on women, they really don't like it. And there's so many myths going around about what doulas do. Like, so when I started, if you listen to episode 1, you'll know that I started off in the NHS very briefly. And I actually asked in the NHS, like on my shift, like, what do you guys think of doulas? And they were like, ugh. And I was like, oh. And it was like, there's this doula who locked women outside and they locked them out the room. And I was like, "All right, okay." I was thinking, "Oh, that was wrong." But now that I think about it, if that birthing woman said, "Lock that midwife out the room," the doula is just doing and carrying out what the woman wants. Like, n- no doula is really like, I don't know, there might be some maverick doulas out there, but a doula's not going to do anything really that's going to cause friction during a birth because we understand that oxytocin, the love and birth hormone, is dampened down by stress hormones, so we wouldn't do that. So I've actually had the myth is going around about me currently that I made midwives wait in the car. That is a lie. It is an absolute lie. And I will tell the story one day, but that's nonsense. The midwife chose to get in her car and leave because she couldn't coerce my client into bending to her will. So I would never make someone wait in the car. It's up to the woman what she wants, and I just advocate and support her choices. So what does it look like when you book me as your doula? So I think there's 4 packages available on my website. Each one obviously goes up in price, and you get more appointments, more kind of not care, because I care for you anyway, but you get more included, more appointments, maybe massages, more placenta products, um, more postnatal visits, the more you want to spend. So usually, there's no real right time for women to book me. I've had women book me when they are literally a couple of weeks. They'll pay the booking fee, which is basically a few £100, depending on when you listen to this. It might have gone up from when I've recorded this, and it's a few £100 to basically secure your date. And what that's going to do is that's going to make sure I don't book any holidays. I limit the amount of birth clients I take, and they pay the booking fee. Their date is secure, and usually they will carry on with their pregnancy, and we'll reconnect. We'll still keep in touch. From the minute of booking, I say, like, you've got full access to me on WhatsApp. You need to ask anything, you need support, I'm here for whatever you need me. But for the appointment side of it, they usually want to wait until later on in the pregnancy. And it means that I see them a little bit close to the birth. We've built up more of a little bit of a bond before the birth, because there's no point, say you're due in September, having like 2 appointments in January and then March, and then there's a full 6 months before you see me. It's probably better to get that relationship. We've still got a relationship, but we just want to make it more closer and trusting towards the end of the pregnancy. So obviously it depends on how many appointments, we'll book them in, and the appointments, the antenatal appointments that I offer are generally around birth education. So also my birth clients get access to my ebook, which is all about the system. It's called Birth Without Bullshit. Know the truth to have an empowered natural birth despite the system. They have access to that. So once they've read that, they can understand how the system works. And everyone that books me and everyone that I take on is aiming for a vaginal birth at home. I would not take on a hospital birth. I would not take on a C-section. It's just not, doesn't align with my values. So everyone kind of is on the same page about the goals. They'll read the book, and then when I go to see them for the antenatal appointments, and by the way, I will leave the link below. If you want to purchase said book, it will change your life and open your eyes and help you have a more empowered birth. Um, and they'll have read the book, and then when we get to the antenatal education, we will talk about what to expect in the birth, because I feel like no one talks about what to expect. They talk about hormones, they talk about this. I'm like, genuinely, what are you going to expect? What is each stage going to look like? Say, if you did get a vaginal examination, what are they looking for? Like, we go over everything, and then we talk about birthing the placenta, how to enhance the birth environment, and then what to expect immediately postpartum. We cover everything. So that is basically part of my education that's included. We go over comfort measures. A lot of the time, I'll bring out your placenta pack for me to pack your placenta. I give out TENS machines, aromatherapy. I'm a keen user of homeopathy as well. So we'll go over that, some of the tinctures that I use during birth, and basically just go over some positions, movement, getting the house ready, getting the birth pack, like not the birth pack, but like I always say, get like, you need to prep your house if you're having a water birth. You need to get like products and birthing essentials, the big Inco pads. Maybe you need carpet protection, couch protection. You know, birth can be a little bit messy. So we go over all that. I cover everything you want to eat and drink. And we just cover everything basically. So you're feeling fully prepared, what we need. And yeah, and then I go on call. When I started, it used to be 10 days before the due date. I'll be honest, there seems to be a recent trend of mums going 36, 37 weeks, and it's freaking me out. But yeah, so I've tended to start making myself more available around the 37-week mark. But used to be 10 days, 37 weeks ish. And yeah, I go on call, which means I don't drink anyway, but I don't really have a drink. I'd never eat an edible. I wouldn't go out of the city. I keep my phone on me. I make sure I'm somewhere where there's always got phone signal. And I'm on call for when you go into labour. When you go into labour, I don't always rush over, because sometimes it can be slow labour. You might not need me there, and at the end of the day, I am a human, and You want to get the best out of me and the most out of me. There's no point ringing me when your contractions are like once every 8 minutes because there's no point me being there. I could be at home asleep and I'm going to tire out faster. So usually women manage really well at home on their own because we've covered all of the comfort measures they can use. Their partner knows how to support them in those early stages. Then once they're ready, I go out, I support them, I help fill the pool. If they're having a water birth, I help them and coach them through the contractions. Um, and yeah, and I stay until after baby's born. I help with delivery of the placenta. If you are having a placenta smoothie, I go and prepare that in the home. And then also, people are probably wondering, well, what happens if you go to hospital? I will transfer into the hospital with you and stay with you, usually the entire time. There might be a time where I think I could probably go home here and have a sleep. It's always very like measured, logical. It's never just like, oh, I'm tired, I'm going. Like I have been at a birth for days. And there's been times where I've nipped home, had maybe 4 hours sleep, come back. There's times where I've slept on people's couches for 2 hours or an hour just because it's been really, really long. There's times where I've gone home and had a little nap. There's times where I've just not slept at all. It's never like I need to go. If it got to like, I'll be honest, it says I may be contract different. So I was like, I might have to go home after 24 hours, but I'll be honest, if there's somewhere for me to sleep, I'm not really that bothered. Like, I can get like maybe 3 hours sleep for me is great, and I feel like a new woman. So that's just how it's worked. And it's never ever like I need to go. It's always like discussed, making sure you're comfortable. Um, so yeah, that's the issue. So, but usually women who, although I'll say this, I've just supported a 63-hour labour. Um, I wasn't there for the whole time. Mum was an absolute warrior. Um, Usually if you are leaving baby alone and not getting sweeps and not trying to induce labour, babies come faster. It's usually inductions, especially if you're getting sweeps and baby's not ready, are the things that make it last ridiculously long. So usually in most cases they come quite not fast, but not long. Um, so why I'm not your average doula? I'm really not. Most doulas, I thought it had gone off then. This is the thing, to be honest, I'm not actually that familiar with many doulas' work. I've got a friend who's a doula, but like a secret doula, she doesn't advertise it. Um, I don't really know how other doulas work. I haven't actually seen any other doulas in action ever. I don't know how they work. I don't know if they're similar to me. I don't know, but I believe I'm not your average doula because I think when I did my training, they were like, stay unbiased. Oh no, I am biased. I have got yours and your baby's best interest at heart. And while a live baby is the bare minimum, by the way, standard, I have got to focus on your baby's well-being from a trauma point of view and how they are brought into the world. So I believe that babies experience birth just as much as women do, and I have got the aim of them being brought into the world as peacefully as possible because I understand the trauma of having gloved strangers pulling you out or having forceps on your head. It's just like it causes a primal wound for the rest of your life. So that is why I am all for peaceful birth into dad's hands. And I'm not afraid to say that. And also a lot of doulas take on births that they'll just take any birth. I'll take any birth. Whereas I'm like, no. And also, not only that, for my own well-being mentally and for my own peace, I cannot knowingly let women walk into the cave that is the modern medical system to birth their babies knowing what the policies say and what could happen to them. So I don't just handhold and let things happen to you. I do speak up and I will give my opinion. It's never just my opinion, it's always based on fact, evidence, and a lot of experience of what I've seen inside the system. Um, so then usually in the packages as well, you will get your placenta. Usually most women will agree to the placenta smoothie. It is the potent best way to consume your placenta, full of natural oxytocin, full of bioavailable iron, full of hormones, in an organic fruit smoothie. Amazing. And then I'll make the pills out of your placenta. And these are amazing, nourishing. These are usually part of the package. And yeah, that's kind of what I do, and I'll come back at the next couple of days after you've given birth. We'll usually do like a nice debrief, which is basically we just talk about the birth, how you're feeling, going over it. I think it's really, really positive and um what's the word? It's not productive, but I think it's quite like cathartic to talk about the birth, what happened. Even if it was the most wonderful, peaceful birth, it's still a lot to process what you've just been through. So we do that. And then depending on how many visits, I'll come and see you. And then usually I would say like, oh, I don't know what that noise is. 80 to 90% of my clients I am still in contact with. Like a doula doesn't have to just be for birth. Like s- I'm good friends with a lot of my clients, and I think that's like another difference between like midwives and doulas. Like, unfortunately, a midwife, well, I don't know, they probably could stay friends with your midwife, but it's less likely. Whereas I feel like the doula, there's no real cut-off point unless you want it to be a cut-off point. You want rid of me. But the majority, I am still in touch with. I'd say 90% of my clients. And this is where like their baby's like 2, 3 years old. It's absolutely like gorgeous, amazing, and I absolutely love it. And I feel like as well, the continuity of like when they have the next babies, like I'll probably be there, and it's just a really nice job. There's no real like boundaries for what I can and can't do when it comes to being a doula, because I'm not diagnosing. I can't really fuck it up. Do you know what I mean? Like anyone can be a doula. Um, so yeah, that is what me as your doula looks like. So with regards to booking, I would say there's no right time. You can book as early as you want. And what's the latest I've been booked? When someone was in labour, and mum messaged me and was like, "This is a shit show. Can you come here now?" And I went, and luckily she got the birth she wanted, despite the staff there. And I've been booked at a couple of weeks as well. And yeah, there's no real thing to book. I just ask for a booking fee to secure your date, and then I ask for the final balance to be paid by 37 weeks. Although, like I said before, births seem to be getting earlier. 36, 37 weeks, the final balance is to be paid off. And that's just so because I want you to enjoy the last few weeks before you have your baby. And if little one does arrive early, it means that I'm not pestering you for money when you're trying to get breastfeeding going and you're knackered and you've got a baby. So, yeah, that's kind of what I do and how I do it. And obviously, it tends to be as well, clients get their hands on my lovely, wonderful products. I also offer pregnancy and postpartum massage. Some of the packages have got the massages included, and they really are life changing. Like, and you get to be smothered head to toe in my Sleepy Dream cream, which is my magnesium enriched body butter, which is life changing, by the way, especially, well, I'd say for everyone, for women, especially if you've got anxiety, depression, insomnia, migraines, period pains, menopause symptoms, it's unbelievable. If you are pregnant, you should be supplementing with magnesium anyway. It also helps with tired, twitchy, crampy legs, which I know a lot of pregnant women suffer from. But you should be supplementing magnesium regardless. And magnesium is best absorbed topically through the skin. It needs to be massaged into the soles of the feet and the legs. You can rub it all over if you want to, but predominantly the feet and the legs because that is where it's best absorbed. And then when little one arrives, or if you've got any dry skin, I've even actually had someone use the honey and oat healing balm for vaginal thrush, which is unbelievable. It's a natural alternative because of the high raw honey content, and you get that for your little ones. And the fragrances I create are pregnancy safe. They're made of organic essential oils, and of course, the yummy lip butter, which, do you know what you're rubbing on your lips from the shop if you're pregnant? Because you're basically eating it. So everything is just pregnancy safe, child safe, and it all kind of links into this natural healing vibe. So I hope that was interesting for you guys to hear about my work as a pregnancy and birth doula. Thank you for listening to Against the Grain by me, the Liverpool doula, where we question everything and reclaim our power. Nothing in this podcast can be construed as professional advice. It does not replace the guidance of a trained professional, and these conversations are here to spark curiosity and offer perspectives. not prescriptions.